What's up everybody, it's your boy Enzo Unreal and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the hidden gem that is Final Fantasy VII Remake and what makes it such a great game. Yes, mechanically and gameplay wise the game just works so well, but the attention to detail the developers put into building the world and its characters is what truly makes this game shine. There are a lot of video games that have very legendary gameplay, but if the story turns me off then I just can't play it. But it's very rare a game can do that to me.
Please stop! Please don't shoot! Joel, please get up!
For me as a gamer, I like to look at the characters, story, music, designs, and much more. So today we're going to be talking about how Final Fantasy VII does this right. So let's just hop right into it. Final Fantasy VII was originally released back in 1997 by Square Enix as a turn-based game. Final Fantasy VII Remake has been updated using a more modern approach to its gameplay, with its battle system having you making commands in real time. Fans either loved the new battle system or hated it. As a newcomer to the series, I honestly fell in love right away and wonder why it took me so long to get into the franchise. When you start the game, you jump into the combat and it's addicting as hell. Final Fantasy VII Remake's battle system is probably the most fun I had in a long time with a video game. It combines elements of a turn-based system but implements a real-time response when using your commands. I'm very mildly into turn-based games anyways, with Pokemon and Final Fantasy X being the only games I ever really got into when I was younger. This game does a good job of blending an action RPG style along with the usage of turn-based strategies. Your party mainly consists of 3 rotating characters: Barret the long-range fighter, Tifa the close-range fighter, and Aerith a long-range mage. As someone who thoroughly enjoyed the combat system, I have to say I hope Square Enix uses it more in their games. Looking at you, Kingdom Hearts 3. My personal favorite to use is Tifa. I mean, just look at her.
That's that! Every little bit! Handle this.
Her fighting style is so fluid and downright fun to use. Tifa has some of the best combination attacks in the game, and I feel like every time I play her, I learn something new to do with her. I find myself constantly experimenting with my battle settings for Tifa just so I can get the edge in battle. Cloud is my second favorite character to use, but his fighting style definitely is the most well-rounded. He can clear enemies quickly if needed and deal high damage when necessary. Playing as Cloud satisfies that itch for playing with a giant sword that my inner child can't seem to get enough of. There's just something about the way he can swing it all around and slash enemies into pieces. Barret brings his own flavor to the table, but I found myself not liking his playstyle too much. I feel like he couldn't do much besides stand in place and shoot. The close range abilities he did have weren't too effective as they don't always land, so I just found myself loading enemies up with bullets. Since Barret is meant for long range enemies anyways, I just found myself using him to clear the enemies in the skies and switching back to Cloud or Tifa to clear the enemies on the ground, but he definitely does come in handy when the time comes. Aerith's playstyle is definitely the most challenging but also the most rewarding. Aerith can be interesting to use at first as she's pretty well rounded in her own right. I mainly used her for her support abilities like her wards or barrier spells, but don't get me wrong, Aerith can do high damage and clear out rooms if needed. She is the undercover backbone of the group. The plot takes place in a futuristic cyberpunk-like city named Midgar. Players take control of mercenary Cloud Strife. Cloud takes on a job from a group called Avalanche, whose mission is to shut down a powerful corporation called Shinra. Why do you ask? Well, Shinra's main goal is to use the planet's life essence as an energy source to provide electricity and power to its people, but at the cost of destroying the planet. Kind of like in real life. The story and its characters is where this game truly shines and what got me hooked into the franchise. If you're new to the game, you're not going to know exactly what's going on right away. It isn't until way later in the game you're explained what exactly is the origin of Mako and Midgar. Instead, the game had you invest in the characters while slowly revealing to you the story and its character's background. Apparently in the original Final Fantasy VII, you end up leaving Midgar very early on in the game. However, in this game, you're in Midgar the whole time, which isn't a bad thing because the developers did a phenomenal job with really bringing to life the city and its people. After replaying the game over and over, I can't help but come back to the wall market section to really appreciate the color and detail they put into this level design. You play as Cloud Strife, a mercenary who just does not care about anyone or anything.
I'd worry less about the planet and more about the next 5 seconds. This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Prove to me you're the man Tifa says you are. That you're one of us.
Never said I was. I'm just here for the paycheck. How many times do I have to tell you people? I'm not...
There's such a thing as playing too hard to get.
Cloud starts off as a huge jerk, but through his interactions with the other characters is where we really see him get to open up a little more and see the good side of him. Not much is known about Cloud either, except that he went away for some time to enlist as a soldier. I was really invested in the mystery behind Cloud's visions and his PTSD. As someone who's currently going through a similar experience, I couldn't help but somewhat relate to the harsh Cloud. When you go through traumatic events, it's normal to push people away and not want to get close with anyone.
So keep your distance.
Wait, you think someone's out to get you? Is that what you're all worked up about?
The things you see and dream with PTSD can feel very real. I don't know too much about Sephiroth's origin as I only known him for the Kingdom Hearts games, so you can guess I shit my pants when I had to fight him at the end of the game. But I am curious to know more about this character in the future games, like who is this guy and why does he haunt Cloud? The intensity Sephiroth brings with each scene always gives me chills.
Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly. Silently. Painfully.
Then there's our cast of supporting characters: Tifa, Barret, Aerith, and the Avalanche Squad, Jessie, Biggs, and Wedge. Tifa is hands down one of my favorite characters. She comes off as this sweet, cute woman who just wants what's best for everyone. Yeah, she is kinda hot.
Tifa, baby, how you doing? Been waiting for you to... Wait, who's he?
He's a regular. Stock up here and he might throw in a freebie or two.
For you, maybe.
Tifa seems to be the only character that Cloud is most comfortable with, and it really shows. The time that they spend together reveals more of Cloud's softer side. In most anime tropes, the blonde spiky hair guy is usually the outspoken charismatic character, with their black haired friend being the emo non-talkative one. So it's a nice change of pace. Next we have Barret and the Avalanche team. Barret starts off very one-dimensional, but as the game goes on, you see Barret become more open and caring, even with Cloud. As a gay guy, I have to acknowledge the fine specimen that is Barret Wallace. I mean, look at him. The Avalanche members are cool, but you don't spend too much time with them. You have Jessie, who is constantly horny for Cloud.
So, you know Tifa, right? It's not really my business, but are you guys close?
And Biggs and Wedge, who are kind of just there. There was a part in the game I really liked where the gang goes to visit Jessie's house. Cloud then enters the house to retrieve a Shinra badge from her father, only to find out that he's sick. It creates a nice moment for the characters to connect a little, as Cloud is curious to know more of the story of what happened to Jessie's father.
What do you care?
No. I want to hear it.
Jesse, all...
Through these small interactions with the Avalanche team, we get to see more development with Cloud as he cautiously tries to keep his distance from them. And then we have Aerith. She's an innocent-looking, flower-picking girl full of so much glee, but will also not hesitate to fuck up a literal god.
It's tough.
Yeah, so what? Screw him.
I love how sassy they made her. She just comes off as this strong character who doesn't take anyone's shit. I especially love her little one-liner she has with Cloud in the heat of battle. These lines are just outright hilarious, and it makes me smile at how Aerith carries herself. Even when she's in difficult situations, she moves forward regardless with a positive mindset, and I can't help but admire her. And there's some villains here and there too. The only one who really stood out to me was Reno. I thought he had the most personality, but he didn't do anything too noteworthy. And lastly, what we really need to talk about is the music in this game. One thing I always appreciated most about Square Enix games is the soundtracks made for their games. Games like Life is Strange, Nier Automata, and Kingdom Hearts have really good soundtracks. Square Enix really takes the time to make music that evokes emotion. Even when you start at the game, the menu has a beautiful piece attached to it. Sometimes if I'm cleaning my room, I'll turn on the game just so I can leave the opening song playing from the menu. The classic battle song always gets me hype every single time, and I'm just ready to mess shit up when it comes on. Most video games do not have to go that hard for their music, but Square did that for us.
Nothing to it.
Just to name a few of my favorite tracks, I really enjoyed the fight music, the Collapsed Highway, Sector 5's theme, Tifa's theme, the iconic One Winged Angel theme, and especially the opening song in Chapter 17. I remember when I got to Chapter 17 and the opening song played, I couldn't help but just to pause the game and sit there to really appreciate the score.
Are you okay? Maybe you should rest a little longer.
I ended up downloading that song to my phone just so I can go outside and look up at the stars at night with it playing. Yeah, I know that's kind of cheesy, huh? I really did appreciate their in-game jukebox, which lets you select tracks to play so when you walk by, you can hear your favorite track playing. I just wish listening to those tracks wasn't limited to one area. Time and time again, Square Enix continues to impress me with the games they release. They don't just make games, but instead they create experiences with the games they make. Final Fantasy VII Remake has been one hell of an experience for me, and I can't wait to see what Square does with the next installment of the franchise. That's it for today, guys. I'm Enzo and Real. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, then you already know what to do. I'll see you guys next time.